G'day Brewers, Hendo here from the Rockstar Brewer Academy. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can set up packaging recipes in Beer 30 for both generic and branded packaging items. Let's take a look. So when we're setting up packaging recipes in Beer 30, it's important that we have a good idea as to what the package type is that we're going to be putting together. So today in my demo brewery, I'm going to be putting together a 24 by 375 ml carton that's going to be made up with 4 packs made up of pack text. So if we think about how a 24 by 375 ml carton of beer is put together, and we look at the components in it, we're going to have 24 silver bullet cans. We're going to have 24 202 CDL lids, which is the type that we use in Australia. We're going to have a branded label that's going to go onto each of the cans, and we're going to need 24 of those. We're going to need 4 packs. 6x4 is 24, and they're the 4 pack pack tech. We're going to need 1 carton outer, and as you can see, this is a generic carton outer. And what we're going to do is we're going to stick a branded label on that particular carton outer. Now, if you break down the different types, so when I talk about things that are generic, that means that it can be used for any particular type of beer. So for example, our silver bullet, our lid, our pack tech, and the carton outer are unbranded, and therefore they can be used for any type of liquid that happens to go in it, any brand of beer that happens to go into it. So we call them in Beer 30 world generic packaging items, whereas our can label and our carton label are specific to a particular brand of beer. So they're called branded packaging materials. So if I jump over into Beer 30 now, the first thing I need to do is I need to set up 375 ml cans in this particular brewery. So I'm just going to go to my name, tools, and then I'll go to brewery packaging options. And you can see under canning, we've only got 12 ounce, 16 ounce, and 355ml cans enabled at the moment. So I'm going to enable 375ml cans. And if I scroll down a little bit, you can see that I've only got singles and 6-pack currently configured. So I'm going to turn on 4 packs in this particular brewery. And of course, the number of sets per case, the number of 4 packs per case is 6. So that's already set up. So I'm all good to go. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to inventory and packaging supplies. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into canning supplies. As you can see, this brewery is already set up for 12 ounce cans, 16 ounce cans. It's set up for 6 packs. It doesn't have my 202 CDLs or anything like that, the can lids. So I'm actually going to put this together from scratch. So what I need to do is when we're defining canning supplies, everything gets defined as a generic canning supply, and then you apply a brand on top of that. So a 375ml can is a generic item. So that basically means that I can put any different beer in it, slap a different label on, and it's going to make that particular brand of beer. Okay, I'm going to say I get them in pallets of 3,000 each. And what I'm also going to define is I'm going to define my 202 CDL can lid, which is what we use here in Australia. They come in a box and I get 625 per sleeve. And the other thing that I need to define is my 24 by 375ml carton outer. That's our generic cardboard carton outer. That is an each, and that just stays as 1, so that's absolutely fine. And so what I'll do is I'll just click define canning supplies. So the other thing that I need to define as well is my labels. Now, even though my label is a branded item, I still need to define it in its generic sense. So I'm just going to call it generic 375ml can label, and they're going to come as an each. And again, I'll click define canning supplies, and now I've got everything all set up. So basically, I've got my 202 CDL can lid, my 24 by 375ml carton outer, my 375ml can label, and my 375ml silver can. Okay, let's put together a package recipe. So I'm going to go into Create, Edit Canning Recipe, and I'm going to select Canning, and I'm going to call this my 24 by 375ml carton 4 packs. Okay, so that's going to be 375ml cans. There's going to be 4 cans per set because it's 4 packs, and there's going to be 6 sets per case. It's going to be 13 kilos. And I'm going to assign a couple of brands to this. So I'm going to assign my Peruvian Amber Ale and my South African Lion Ale to this particular packaging recipe. So now I go and add in all the items that make up this particular packaging recipe. So let's start from the inside to out. So the first thing is going to be a 375ml silver can. There's 24 of those, and that's a generic supply. The next thing I'm going to add is my 202 CDL can lid. There are 24 of those, and that's also generic. The next thing I'm going to add is a 375ml can label. There's 24 of those, and that's going to be brand specific because the label is related to either Peruvian Amber Ale or South African Lion Ale. The next thing I need is my 24 by 375ml carton outer. There's only one of those, and that's generic. And the last thing I need to add is my carton outer label. And there's one of those, and that is brand specific. Okay. And then I just click Save Packaging Recipe, and it brings up a summary of what our packaging recipe looks like. So as you can see, it's given us our 202 CDL lid, 24, 1 carton outer, 24 can labels, 24 cans, and 1 carton outer label. And then what it's also done is it's broken it down into us for the Peruvian Amber Ale and South African Lion Ale. So the next thing we need to do is to add in some inventory of our generic cans, lids, etc. And also we need to add in our branded items, such as our label and our carton outer label, into inventory. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start with the cans. So 375ml silver can. I'm going to click plus. And I'm just going to say I just got 1 can. Now, the really cool thing that you can do here is that this is a generic silver can, but what I can actually do is I can actually add brands to this particular generic item. So for example, let's say I move from plain silver can to something that's branded. So let's say I'm going to get some printed cans. That's my Australian Hazy IPA. I can actually add them into the inventory, and they will appear as a separate line item in the Beer 30 inventory. But for today, not doing that. So I'm just going to add in 1 pallet of cans. I can put in my lot number and all that sort of stuff, but I'm not going to worry about that for today. And I'm just going to update my inventory. And as you can see now, in the 375ml silver can, I've actually got 1 pallet, 3,000 items. So let's go and add in our 202 CDL lids. So I'll just click plus. Of course, that's generic. I'm going to add 10 boxes of that. Hit update inventory. And then I'm going to add my can labels. So let's add in the can labels. Now, I'm going to add in brand specific stuff. So this is going to be for my Amber Ale, my Peruvian Amber Ale. And I'm going to add in 5,000 of those. Hit update inventory. And as you can see now, for our can label, we've got no generic labels, obviously, but we have our Peruvian Amber Ale, 5,000 units. So let's add in 5,000 pack text. And let's add in some carton outers, 5,000 of those. And finally, let's add in our carton outer labels. Where are you, carton outer label? There we go. And this is brand specific. So I'm going to put this as Peruvian Amber Ale, and I'm going to have 10 boxes of those. And so now what we've got is we've actually got everything that we need to be able to do a canning run. So I've got generic silver can, generic 202 CDL lid. I've got a branded label, can label. I've got a branded can label for Peruvian Amber Ale. I've got a generic carton outer. I've got a branded Peruvian Amber Ale carton outer label. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add in the brand specific items for South African Lion Ale. So let me just go into canning supplies, And I've got the label and the carton outer label, which are brand specific. So I've got my Peruvian Amber Ale, and I'm going to add in my South African Lion Ale, 5,000 of those. And then I'll do the same for my carton outer label. Where are you, carton outer label? There we are. Brands, South African Lion Ale. I'm going to put 10 boxes in there, hit update inventory, and it's done. So now what I've got is I've got plenty of generic items. So my silver can, my lid, my pack text, and my carton outers. And I've also added into the inventory my brand specific stuff. So my label and my carton outer label. And I've done that for both South African Lion Ale and Peruvian Amber Ale. So now if I go back to the dashboard, you'll see in my bright beer tank that I've got 146 barrels of South African Lion Ale ready to package. So let's go and pack some South African Lion Ale. If I go into the packaging module and I go start packaging, you'll see that the only one there is my South African Lion Ale. I'm going to start the packaging run. This is going to be cans. It's going to say what packaging size. So it's going to be 375ml cans, 4 cans per set and 6 sets per case. Put in my things for BBG temp, hit start packaging run, and then you can see if I go into the finished packaging, you can see that I've selected my packaging size, units and sets, and it's asking me my total finished cases. So I'm just going to say 100 cases, low fill cases, 5, QC cases 1. And as you can see, it has put in the calculations to deplete the inventory on each of those particular items in the packaging recipe. So that's how you set up beer packaging recipes in Beer 30. So just to recap, sometimes you have packaging items which are generic, where they can be associated with any brand of beer, and some packaging items which are brand specific, such as labels or printed cans, that sort of thing. I hope you found this video useful. If you are interested in taking a look at Beer 30, just leave a comment below and one of the Beer 30 crew will reach out to you and arrange a demo. Thanks for watching this Tech Tip Tuesday. I'll catch you in the next video. Cheers.